we hear the word magic, right? And we automatically sometimes think, specifically for me, that's how I was when, because I was oblivious to any of this, right? We hear the word magic, and we connect it to like the movies, right? The Disney movies where they're with the wand and they're doing something with the wand and something appears, right? Or to a magic show, right? And so we have been groomed to discredit that this is something that is real, right? We hear the word witches and warlocks, right? Which in reality has been demonized, right? So a lot of the things that are actually real have been demonized. And for everything bad, there's something good. There's the laws of polarity, right? So um, there are good light witches, right? Like light workers, and then there's like the demonic, diabolical ones, right? That I usually speak on, right? And so I just wanted to clarify that, that there's good and bad for everything. But the point being is that we have been taught to not see this as something real, right? We have been taught to just brush it off. Usually, people would ask about, magic, spiritual warfare, and they'll be like, "That's not real. That doesn't happen," right? So it's been taught to be this way so that we don't open our eyes and see what is happening. But because there's so many horrible things happening in the world right now, there's no other option but to take the glasses off and start seeing for what it is, right? To take the blindfold off and put the glasses on and start seeing things for what it is, right? And so when all these diabolical things are happening in the world, even not just the Epstein files, right? We're gonna take it down a notch to the fear that's being shown in the media, in the news. And I'm a person that I don't watch the news because I understand that these are things that are being sent to our subconscious, right? And that we are all connected, and so that if we all globally start to panic and go into fear, that's what we're going to get more of. That's why it's important that we observe but don't absorb, right? And in order to get to that point, we have to be grounded and we have to understand how we work as humans individually and how we collectively work together, right? But these people who operate the news, who operate um, entertainment, who operate politics, they understand this, right? And so they have demonized the use of magic, right? And so what they do is that they're out here manipulating everyone's free will without people knowing that this is what's happening, because all they have to do is invoke fear, invoke an emotion, invoke a wound, invoke triggers onto you, and they don't have to be physically in front of you to harvest your energy. They don't have to be physically in front of you to send an entity towards you. This somebody could be in the other side of the country, somewhere in Australia somewhere, and somebody else could be all the way in Canada somewhere, and the energetic event will take place. Okay, and so the people who are in power, in places of power, are entities who know how to do the work, right? They know. And it's funny because my mind just went blank as I'm speaking about this. And so I'm also a person that like it's is spiritually attacked a lot with like that MK Ultra type of thing. So I understand what this is, like it's an attack, but we're gonna keep going, right? And so the people at work, the powers at work, have programmed us to believe that these things are not real, so that because if we don't believe it's real, we're susceptible to the attacks. You understand what I'm saying? Even like right now, as I just had an attack that my mind went blank, I was able to identify it as an attack and boom, I'm right back on it, right? Because I know what's happening. I understand what's going on. But if we're not aware of it, if we don't see things for what they are, and we are not protecting ourselves, and by protecting ourselves, I mean healing, right? healing, putting the focus within, right? Because in order for the powers at work to be able to function, to be able to thrive, to be able to do whatever it is that they do, they need our consent. And when we're not spiritually awoken to this, we are consenting without realizing, right? They need permission. They cannot do anything without our permission. And the moment that we realize what is going on, what are you doing? You know I can see you, right? It ends. But humanity has been kept either in a slumber, enraged, or in fear, and it's on purpose. The reason being that in order for them to continue to thrive and continue to develop their matrix simulation, they need our energy. They need to harvest. They need our consent. They need our emotions. And so that's why we have so much, we're being flooded with negativity, with darkness. Why? Because they need emotions. They need to invoke fear. They need to invoke rage. They need you to be able to give them what it is that they want in order for them to continue to exist. And so because there's a spiritual war happening, nobody's publicizing this spiritual war except the light workers who are actually in it and have platforms, right? Some of us are teaching, some of us are speaking on these things based on what we've gone through, and some of us are literally like doing the thing with our gifts. So the spiritual war that is happening is not going to be publicized, and it's an energetic war. And Donald Trump said this, that there was going to be an energetic war. I'm not sure if it was at the beginning of last year or the year before, but he did say that. And the point being that they have to let us know what is going on and what it is that they're doing, right? And so I come here to bring about awareness, right? About our state of being, right? And it's not for us to look outside of ourselves or to put the blame game in. It's for us to become aware that this is happening, detach from the programming, heal, choose to heal, not pass any judgment, which like really not pass any judgment. Forgive them, for they know not what they do, because again, these entities operate through people, right? And so although the person looks perfectly fine, in reality there's something operating through them. And so that's how we can forgive them, for they know not what they do, even if they look like they know what they're doing, because sometimes these people don't even know that these entities have jumped aboard, right? And some people are being manipulated, right? Without them realizing that they're being used, that their vessel is being used because they're so low vibrational, right? And then the thing is that nobody teaches us about vibration, nobody teaches us about energy. So you can't know what you don't know. You understand what I'm saying? So we forgive, for they know not what they do, and we move on. I'll be back with a part 2 or something like that.